In the past 5 centuries, planes, ships, and people have vanished from thin air in a small section of the Atlantic Ocean. This part of the ocean, called the Devil's Triangle, is most commonly referred to as Bermuda's Triangle. It's a triangular sector that connects Miami to San Juan to Bermuda. It's recognized as a boneyard where scientists and researchers have found disturbances and remnant of hundreds of ships and aircrafts. Many ideas, fears, and hypotheses have been crafted to prove whether it's a work of science or the work of something unnatural. The disturbances and wrecks are just the tip of the iceberg, however. Many people believe it's the result of an unearthly anomaly or the result of creatures lurking under the surface that causes this crazy mystery. However, before talking about the weirdest part of this all, we must go back to the earliest known appearance of these anomalies, dating all the way back to 1492 when Christopher Columbus was on his way from Europe trying to reach Asia when he passed a small triangle of water. Columbus had kept a journal full of entries of his journeys, and in it he described his experiences.
On September 13th, 1492, Columbus says that as he's going along this route, something weird starts happening with his compass. On this day, at the commencement of the night, the needles turned a half point northwest, and in the morning, they turned somewhat more northwest. But it doesn't stop there. He also reported the sea rising and a strange light out in the distance. He described it like a wax candle moving up and down.
And with that, the mystery continued throughout time. In 1606, an English ship carrying 150 travelers was caught in a huge hurricane. Though that doesn't sound as intriguing at first, it left a huge precedent for those who dared to travel. It is believed that this wreck also inspired a play by Shakespeare known as The Tempest, where he described Bermuda as being cursed. This was even further reinforced in 1881 with one of the weirdest experiences by far, a ship encountering something truly unearthly.
This ship is sailing from Liverpool to New York City when it passes through the triangle. The people on board say that they came across a ghost ship with no one on board. There are varying reports on exactly what happened, but the people on board generally reported that some of the crew decided to get on the ghost ship, but then the ships were separated by a massive storm. When they were reunited with the ghost ship the next day, there was no trace of the crew.
However, things began to pick up much more in the 20th century, where the reputation of the Bermuda Triangle would be much more commonly known. Dozens of ships vanished from thin air without any knowledge of an SOS, and all signs of its remains being gone, as if some creature had pulled it down to the deepest depths of the ocean. However, it really began to pick up in 1945 when a group of fighter planes were doing a flying exercise that involved them flying in a circle to and from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In the middle of the exercise, their compasses had started to act up similar to that of Columbus. After a while, they went completely silent and never contacted the island, completely vanishing. Similar occurrences would continue over the coming years, with dozens of crafts and people vanishing, with it all beginning from a simple compass that Columbus had. But there may be an explanation for it. Some people have deduced it to a few scientific factors. Many believe it's methane blowouts, which are huge exhales of methane that cause massive explosions in the water, which create these huge whirlpools. Some people even believe it's a disturbance in Earth's geomagnetism, which causes a compass to spin out of control. Or maybe it was just huge hurricanes that made all these ships vanish, rogue waves ranging from hundreds to thousands of feet tall. Perhaps it's something known as air blasts, which form from weird hexagonal clouds in the sky.
These types of hexagonal shapes over the ocean are, in essence, air bombs. They're formed by what are called microbursts, and they're blasts of air that come down out of the bottom of the cloud and then hit the ocean and then create waves that can sometimes be massive in size as they start to interact with each other.
However, this isn't what makes it terrifying. The Bermuda Triangle isn't even the top 10 most dangerous regions of the world. The total marine traffic casualties ever experienced as of 2021 was only 1.8%. And the amount of ships that have passed through Bermuda that have experienced a wreck are only 0.02. Only just above 70 crafts have experienced a casualty from the 8,634 that passed through this small section of the ocean. But the thing that makes it so reputable and so terrifying is the unnatural aspect of it. Its reputation for its unknown disappearances is what makes it the most terrifying body of water. The sightings of weird things like ghost ships, weird lights, random accounts of compasses not working, the vanishing of ships, they all invoke fear. This is even further intensified when you realize all those scientific reasons I listed may not even play a factor in what's actually happening. Is it truly what Shakespeare said, an area of the ocean cursed for all of eternity that is affected by some unearthly disturbance? Or is there something scientific causing all the disturbances? Perhaps a huge monster that is the size of the Empire State Building, or a portal that enacts whenever it's hungry. Nonetheless, all the reputation and all the knowledge of the Bermuda Triangle begs one question. What is really happening down there, and who is willing to find out, whether it costs them their life or not?